Love it. Hey, this is Danny, aka the Kite String Tangle, and I'm talking about my favorite album covers with cool accidents. The first album I'm going to talk about is Bonobo, North Borders. I have this one on vinyl, and it's just like got this awesome, like amazing texture, and it just feels super classy and matte, and I just remember the artwork just totally blowing me away. I think it's done by Leif Podasky. I don't know how to say his last name, but he's like one of my favorites, and everything he does is so classy. The XX Coexist, I think that's some of the classiest artwork I've ever seen. It's just so simple, and like their music's like that. Like it's very, very stripped back, and it's only the bare necessities. Seeing that artwork for the first time and just being like, so good. I love it. Another album cover that I love, which weirdly is also by Leif Podasky, Tame Impala's Inner Speaker. I definitely like his other albums more, but the album cover I think was like the first time I'd seen Leif's work, and it just really struck me. And again, like it's kind of a little bit psychedelic, and obviously Tame Impala have those kind of sonic qualities. So I just thought it was really matching, and it's like quite an iconic album cover, I think. This is a bit of a curveball for me musically, but the band Tool, 10,000 Days. I remember getting this album, I got it on compact disc, CD, you know, so it's like, we're going back a bit. It like came with this bit that flipped up, and there's like, you can look through the eye holes and you can see all the, like, you go through the pages of the CD and it like, stuff jumps out, and it was just like the craziest thing ever. So that stuck in my head as like quite a crazy album cover. And they use like heaps of weird, like, I think they're into like spiritual sort of acidy psychedelic stuff as well. So it was all pretty trippy, but again, it matched the album really well. One that I'll always remember if we're talking about album covers, which we are. Another one is Boniva, 22 a Million, album cover of like heaps of imagery and like symbology. So I actually read I can't remember the artist's name who did it, but he had like quite an in-depth interview with him, and like how he kind of came up with all this like strange symbolism. Boniva got him, like hired him, and he came into the studio and like was there during the whole like writing and creation process. Whenever something would happen, he would like make a little symbol of it. So there would be like, I think there's like a jersey, like a sports jersey. There's like all sorts of weird little symbols, but they all came from like conversations or lyric ideas or stuff throughout the whole creative process. So it's kind of like this mishmash of all this like weird symbols, and he's just kind of smushed it together in an album cover, but in all the like liner notes, and then in the videos online as well. Like it's really like a common theme throughout the whole thing. And I loved it. I loved that. And so I've definitely like tried to work some of that same idea into my latest album artwork as well. So another one, Hayden James, Between Us, his debut album actually, I think. I like this one because I kind of got to follow the journey from his first single all the way through to the album. So he's always had this same idea of like a person that's like semi-covered in paint, but in like really angular ways. And it's really, really classy and really cool. And the guy that did it was Tim Lovett, who's a Brisbane guy actually. I think he's also from Brisbane, like me. Really classy, but then the album cover, it like kind of takes that concept a little bit further, and there's like this whole mess of people on the floor, all kind of like covered in paint, and they've done very well. Another one is Tourist, his album You, which is also his first album. This one I really liked because of simplicity. And yeah, I mean, this one, it literally is just a U, but there's some like really bold colors, and throughout the whole campaign that he did, it was, he would just sort of use really, really bold colors, and you would immediately be able to recognize what it was. I like seeing people take bold risks like that. It makes me feel more inclined to do that also. The last one is my new album, which is called Codex. This one was super fun to make. I guess like the idea for the art and everything was conceptualized really, really early on. And I was working with this guy called Surgeon Burlack, whose work is just incredible. I was a big fan of his work, and then kind of explained the concepts, like cult symbology and sacred geometry kind of stuff. But I wanted it to obviously be unique to me, and I didn't want it to like remind people of, you know, Illuminati or something. And he did the most incredible job. Like, it's like somewhere between really structured geometric patterns and then organic sort of like cobwebby stuff. And he kind of combined the two, and it's really intriguing because you don't really know what you're looking at. It's always so hard to capture like an album in an image. I think it did a really good job of it because I've kind of changed my sound a little bit to a darker sort of sonic area. And yeah, so that having like a monochromatic theme, structure versus organic, like I think it speaks to the music quite well. It was kind of exactly what I wanted, and he did such a great job. So yeah, hopefully you like the cover also.